Hello and welcome to another episode of the Full Force News Burst, brought to you by GeneralsJoes.com, with me as your host, Chris Sneak Eyes McLeod, aka Diagnostic 80, joining me to discuss his work on the brand new and as yet unreleased ASICS Gel Lyte III G.I. Joe Snake Eyes and Cobra Storm Shadow sneakers exclusively for Footlocker is Bluu. So without further ado, let's get stuck into this news burst. It was only a few days ago that a random retweet alerted me to what appeared to be a pair of custom Gel Lyte III sneakers with Snake Eyes homages all over them. After some minimal digging, it turned out to be a brand new, official release by ASICS exclusively for Footlocker, designed by the one and only Bluu. Shortly after that revelation, I saw that not only was Snake Eyes getting the sneaker treatment, but also his sword brother Storm Shadow was too. Well, today we have a very special guest joining me for a chat about this awesome footwear, and it is none other than the immensely talented Bluu. Thank you so much for jumping on the show. We really appreciate it. First off, why don't you give us and our listeners and viewers a little background on yourself, how you got into art and design in the first place, and also starting Bluu Dreams, please.
Yeah, sure. Bluu, based out of New York. Pretty much in a nutshell, I was always into drawing as a kid.
Yeah.
If you would have asked me what I wanted to do when I grow up, I would have told you I would have been a basketball player or an artist for Disney.
It's about the same for me, actually.
Right. Really? How funny is that? So as I grew up, I thought I had a better chance playing ball, so I did that.
Yeah.
But, as I grew up, art stayed with me. I always had that passion and love for it. And it was in college, I had the idea of just designing shirts and stuff like that. What I did was I had a design that I drew in class, I Heart College, took out the 2 L's, put 2 solo cups in a beer pong.
Nice.
And then that was it. People saw it. I bought a heating press, and I was just literally turning out shirts in my dorm room.
Wow.
Ever since then, I've been focused on learning the business of art and just getting better as an artist.
That's fantastic. So, I mean, that must have been quite an impressive thing to happen, to all of a sudden you put that t-shirt out there and it just goes nuts.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when, especially when you're a broke college kid and you learn how to put a few dollars in your pocket, it definitely makes a difference,
That's awesome. Well, I mean, tell us about your experience with G.I. Joe growing up as well. I mean, were Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow favorites of yours back in the day?
It's so funny because I remember watching the cartoons.
Yeah.
And I have like a little bit of memories of doing that. But the thing that stuck with me was the action figures. I had so many toys growing up. It wasn't even funny.
Yeah.
From Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles, X-Men, the Marvel comics, but the ones that always stuck out was the G.I. Joe characters. I loved the packaging. Back then, not really thinking of it that way, but the way the art was, the way to describe the characters in the back, pretty much I had my imagination running as a kid and just playing with the toys. So not even knowing at the time that I was slowly becoming a big fan of the property.
That's amazing. I mean, the art was incredible, wasn't it? Some of the card art was beautiful. I mean, actual they actually got actual paintings done for each one of those pieces of art. I mean, it's just mind-boggling. I've actually been to the Hasbro Providence building where they did a tour, and they had out all of the art they still had from the vaults for the G.I. Joe stuff. It was beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, that definitely is you can see the inspiration in the stuff that you've been doing with your sneakers. Absolutely. How did the ASICS gig come about? Did they approach you with the idea, or had you pitched it to them?
So it was so funny. It was about April last year. I got an email from Footlocker, and it was just saying that, hey, we've heard about you. We think you'd be perfect for a project coming up. Come down to our office in New York and we'll talk. The craziest thing about the story is at that time, my life was like on fire.
Yeah.
Just a few months ago, my dad passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, bud.
Thank you. But, when you lose a family member, usually what you do is you spend time trying to, you mourn their loss.
Yeah.
But for me, when he passed away, he opened up his own tax office in Brooklyn. So immediately after it happened, I said to myself, oh my God, I have to figure out how to run this business in less than 5 months.
Wow.
So, I mean, I don't know how you guys do it over there, but in the U.S. from January to April 15th is like tax season.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, April is like, you got 15 days and everybody who waited till the last minute is trying to get in. So, like, I'm super swamped. I'm in a situation where I don't know how I got into this.
Yeah.
And then I get one email that I've been dreaming of getting from Footlocker asking me to come down. And when I went down to the store, put everything on hold with all my customers and stuff like that
Yeah.
at the tax office, and I sat with them. I brought my art with me, showed them what I do with my sneaker art prints that I've been doing for the last 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
And as I was showing one of the main people at the store, like their customers and employees started reacting to the art prints, started saying, "Oh, wait, you sell those? Where can I get that?" And when he saw that energy, he said, like, you know what? We're trying to do this G.I. Joe project, and if you're a fan of it, we'd love to have you. And I told him that, just like I told you, I grew up playing with the toys.
Yeah.
And then that's what got the ball rolling. So it all started, believe it or not, just doing like a capsule collection based on T-shirts and hats and socks.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And then maybe a week later, after I started sending the concepts, he said to me, he's like, "Hey, ASICS wants to get on board. Would you be down to do some sneakers?" And that's how everything took off from there.
That's amazing. I mean, what that's such a random way of kind of getting involved in that. That's
Right.
brilliant. Had you actually done any kind of like any GI Joe related sneaker designs already? Have you kind of touched on it, or was this like from like complete scratch? You kind of attempted these.
Complete scratch. So I mean, I was ready designing G.I. Joe stuff before, they approached me with the whole ASICS design. So, but I never designed any G.I. Joe sneakers before. So I had to take a step back and, I did a lot of research on like the toys and the properties and the storylines, and which each from the TV show, the movie, the comics is different storylines.
It's all over the place, yeah.
It's all over the place. But the ones that I resonated with the most was the comics. So I tried to take inspiration from that and take inspiration from the toys to try to put together a sneaker that, somebody like me who loves sneakers and another person who likes G.I. Joe could both enjoy.
Yeah. So you did the research. Take us through the design process following that. I mean, how did you approach it then? I mean, are we just talking like throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks, or do you have like a nice kind of idea once you'd done that research of how it was going to look?
So when we decided to do this project, we decided to stick to a storyline, and that was like the yin yang effect of these two characters.
Yeah.
So before we even did anything, we already knew we wanted to do like a black and white sneaker.
Yeah.
With that being said, what we wanted to do is just tell the story of these two characters that grew up as friends, that turned brothers, that split apart because of the death of their master.
Yeah.
So with this design, I definitely said to myself, I want to take the characters and pretty much take each character and like inspire the design, if that makes any sense.
No, absolutely. Yeah. What I really love, because obviously I've only seen the one image of the Storm Shadow sneaker so far that was on the, I know you did another podcast with the, is it the AID podcast?
Yeah, Adventures in Design.
Yes, it was I really enjoyed that. Like I actually listened to that evening once I saw the tweet. I was like, oh, I've got to check this out. So I listened to that. It was really, really cool, interesting podcast, and I loved the amount of detail you guys were going into about each element of the sneaker and all that kind of stuff. And seeing the Storm Shadow one, I love that you've used the digital camo that came on his version too. I absolutely adore that figure. So that is like a big plus that you use that on the sneaker.
Thank you.
Did you, as soon as you saw that, was that like, I've got to get this on the sneaker somehow?
Yeah. So what I did was I went through like the timeline of the different action figures that they've done over time.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, like, okay, what can I take from this that I think would be cool or eye-catching or that would work for a sneaker? And as soon as I saw that at camo, like I'm a big fan of camo, and to see something that's different that pops like that, I said, you know what, this would really, really be a fun pattern that would fit perfectly on a sneaker. I know people aren't used to seeing that as his outfit, because I know it's like his alternative winter camo outfit, but I just thought, especially since we're releasing it in winter, it's a perfect winter white. I love the pop of like the gray, the gray on there, and I thought it was a winner.
And I really like the addition of Zartan on the sole, like his face. And a few people were commenting when I posted it on the Facebook page. They were like, who's the face? And it's when I remember the only reason I knew immediately was because I hadn't actually paid attention to the images yet. And listening to the podcast, you discussed that with the podcast host. And I was like, oh, I've got it. And I looked at it and I thought instantly, of course it's Zartan. You've got like the hood creeping over the forehead as well. I mean, I take it that's to do with the link between the actual characters, right?
Yeah, so in a storyline, what ends up happening is Snake Eyes was coming up the ranks with the Hard Master, which is Storm Shadow's uncle. And Zartan was supposed to kill Snake Eyes, but the Hard Master was showing him this trick where you can kind of
The
mimic
heartbeat
somebody's
mimic, yeah.
exactly, and then that's when Zartan accidentally kills him. But there's this big mix-up where when Snake Eyes goes to see who killed him, he sees Storm Shadow, but it's actually Storm Shadow's chasing Zartan. So with this whole story, what I wanted to do is show how Zartan links these two characters.
Nice.
And also, when I put him at the bottom of the soul, it's just almost saying that, the real killer, the real villain's literally underneath your nose.
That's amazing. That's such a nice, that's something I hadn't even thought of as well. Like, obviously, you can kind of look at these things, and especially in design, and just not take those, I don't know, like almost like stories that are kind of built into them. So it's amazing that these sneakers actually tell that story in a way. It's remarkable. I really digging that as an addition.
Yeah, kudos to Footlocker and ASICS for letting me take the risk in doing that stuff. When I pitched them the idea, they definitely want to stick to the storyline. And I know some of it was a little off the wall and unconventional, but they definitely said, you know what, just do it. And we'll see what happens. And the product came out amazing. I'm really, really happy how it came out.
I'm not surprised as well that you've included two of the main kind of features in both characters, and that's the I Ching symbol for the Arashikage clan for Snake Eyes, but then also Storm Shadow gets a Cobra kind of sigil as well. So that's, you kind of like, you're covering a lot of bases with some very small details, and that's really nice too. Was it important for you to kind of get as much homage on there as possible?
Yeah, I tried to fit in as much as I could, but not overdo it.
Yeah,
not to where it almost looks like a bulletin board of advertisements. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just definitely giving little hints for the G.I. Joe fan to really be excited to pick up the sneaker. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
Like these are the logos that definitely identify these characters. So I definitely want to pay homage to that.
And what was the idea behind? I know it might just be an aesthetic thing, but is there any story behind the kind of splash effect on the grey on the Snake Eyes?
Yeah. I mean, this is my own idea. ASICS and Footlocker had nothing to do with this, but I thought it would have been cool to put like a blood splatter effect on there because they're ninjas, and I just felt like it felt right.
Awesome.
But like I just thought like the speckle pattern is something that you can't go wrong with, so that's why I threw it on there. It
really pops, doesn't it? Oh, it's gorgeous. Okay, so talking of ASICS, I know I pronounce it ASICS, being from the UK. That's just, that's what I do. We like to pronounce things completely differently here. How are they as a company to work with? Did you get a lot of freedom to express yourself as creatively as you wanted?
ASICS and Footlocker, or just ASICS?
Oh, but both companies.
I'm going to say they let me take control of the wheel, to be honest with you. Awesome. I actually had a chance to go down to the ASICS facility in Boston, and they were honestly amazing. They were so nice. Cool. The facility was so cool. They're showing me how like a lot of like the Japanese elements are in there, and showing me what everything means and stuff like that, and how it's like positive energy.
Yeah.
And when I sat with the staff, everybody was so cool. It's the first time that I said to myself, like, wow, I could really see myself working for a company like this.
Yeah.
Because everything just felt right. We spent the whole day together, and I felt like I've known everybody for weeks. It was crazy. But it was fun. It was fun. We really sat down and we spent an hour talking about what we were trying to do. And then after that, we were just, picking up patterns, looking at different swatches, and just trying to figure out what we could do to make the best sneaker that people really, really would enjoy.
That's great. It's amazing. Will there be opportunities for more G.I. Joe based designs in the future if these sell well? Is that on the cards? I mean, obviously, I understand if you can't actually if you can't actually go into any details.
Fingers crossed. Honestly, if people want to see more stuff like this, just go out and get the sneaker. They're definitely paying attention. Footlocker wants to continue working with artists like myself, because what they want to do is have people that are fans of the properties to come up with these kind of concepts. That's so awesome. If anybody wants to see more of this stuff, just on February 22nd, just go out. Buy one, buy two, buy some for the family, and hopefully we keep this ball rolling.
Amazing. And also, just one last thing: are there any characters you'd like to do, specifically in like other characters you'd like to kind of attack in the G.I. Joe universe?
That's a good question. I definitely would like to play with some of the villains. To be honest with you, I'm a big fan of villains. Yeah, I think if I had the opportunity to do another one, it would definitely be from the Cobra universe.
Fantastic. Now, like you said, they should be dropping on the 22nd of this month at Footlockers nationwide. Do you know how exclusive they'll be and how much they'll be sold for? Do you know those kind of details at the moment?
I don't have those details right now at the moment because I know they're still fine-tuning things over there, but I do know as far as the amount of sneakers, it is not a big release. It's more on the limited end.
Okay.
So, I plan to talk more to people about that on my own social medias to let them know, because I'm also excited that it's going to be global, but I want to let people know that this is not something on a large scale. It's going to be very, very limited. So if you want to get it, definitely, stay tuned to Footlocker and ASICS and also my social medias.
And where can people find you, Anderson?
You can find me at bluudreams.com. That's BLUU dreams.com. And you can also find me on Instagram as Anderson_BLUU, Anderson_Bluu.
Fantastic. That brings us to the end of the interview. Thank you so much for jumping on with me to chat about these amazing sneakers.
Hey, Chris. Thanks for having me, man.
No, thank you so much, Anderson. And if possible, if anything like this pops up again, we'd love to have you back on the show for another interview, if that would be okay with you.
Definitely, 100%.
Awesome. Thank you so much, sir. That's it for this instalment of the Full Force News Burst. Thank you to my wonderful guest, Anderson Bluu. See you next time. And as always, full force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of these platforms with feedback, questions or to say, who do you think you are? A serious operation now? No, not even close. Look out for more of these news bursts that we are posting on the Facebook page from now on. Full Force.